From the Midwest to the way west, this duo of the LA launch is a partnership made in heaven. One of the longer standing partnerships when you look at the league, considering the men's side now been together for 3 seasons. That's Logan Webber and Hagen Smith. They decided to stay right alongside one another, and it paid off coming through the qualification process.
Indeed, they were in early, and they've had a lot of time to prep for this moment.
A look to the MVP on the men's side, Miles Partain. Starting off with an option and a line dinger.
One thing to know about this pair, they recently switched sides. They went back to the right and left, so that put Webber on the right where he was reluctant to go. But Hagen told him, listen, I dreamed about it, so we have to do it. And eventually Logan said, okay. And it's actually worked out quite well for them.
Talk about a battle of height at the net right now between that of Andy Benish and Logan Webber. Logan Webber, 6'9".
Yeah, and he's on kind of a Phil Dalhausser unconventional road to beach volleyball. Could he have the same kind of results with the same kind of physique? We will see.
And a look at Andy Benish, another 6'9" athlete, the 4-year starter at USC. Middle turned pro beach volleyball player to then Olympian.
Yeah, a few unusual things about Andy Benish. First, he's a middle blocker who made the transition to beach successfully. Jeff Nygaard, one of the few I can think of who've done that. 2, he's a middle blocker with a big jump serve that can affect the game. That is not normal.
Take a look at Logan Webber.
For me, I've been really trying to emphasize being as calm as possible at the start of every play, or at the start of my approach, or at the start of my pass, and not getting too amped up in such like a big stadium and, you know, a big crowd. And I think being able to kind of emphasize that calmness is going to be key, especially on this sand that's going to play a little bit quicker. So
this is a heat check for this young pair. All right, this is time to show up. Consistency and the ability to dictate in this match will be tested by these two very consistent players in Benish and Partain. And I like that confident swing there. Listen, both of these guys have talked to us about wanting to play good volleyball first and be physical second. And I think technical volleyball execution is 100% needed if they're going to have success in this match.
There's one thing you can guarantee. They got the best hair in the land.
By they, do you mean just Hagen? Did Logan get in on that?
Logan gets in.
The flowing curls?
As that one goes straight through the uprights of Logan Webber.
I just love that Logan Webber sounds like about half of my uncles who are all from the Midwest. Just awesome, solid, great dudes.
A look to the numbers for Andy and Miles. 20 attacks and just a handful of errors, 3 and 2 in the mix. They were in week 1 play and remain undefeated as that one slides off the platform of Miles Partain.
Yeah, a couple nice things here. You see the mobility of Webber, but also Hagen Smith was a setter at UCLA, ran a 6'2". Rare 6'2" with Micah Ma'a, also an Olympian, and now Olympic bronze medalist. So there's a lot of capability there in terms of volleyball execution, what we were just talking about.
Well, and it's a little bit of familiar foes for these two. Just one meeting between the two of them, and actually came in Huntington Beach just a few short weeks ago as Logan Webber tries to go up high enough to find the high line, but instead Partain, the local product, finds one.
And I wonder how much international scouting U.S. teams like Smith and Webber are doing, because Mullen Storm served Andy exclusively at the start of that match and also put a ton of service pressure on both players. Some short middle was quite effective. Now, different ball, a little bit harder to receive, but I think some of what you see internationally is instructive when you watch teams like Mullen Storm.
Learning from Mullen Sorum was the block of Andy Benish. He looks to them as there's the lefty sent to the sideline.
I think we spent a lot of time talking about Miles Partain and his different volleyball shots and abilities, but this turn from Andy on the second play here. Watch this attack. Watch Andy's up a little bit early, turns, tracks the ball. That is a tough play to make. Not only tough to make a play at all, but there to set his partner for a wrist away. That's where Andy has really improved his quality of touch over the last few years.
A rare error from the service line from Miles Partain. He's a little bit more conservative back there than some. They trust their defense.
Yeah, I'd like to see him maybe take a swing at it.
A look to Hagen Smith, just 30 years old, out of Pacific Palisades. like you mentioned, the Bruin. Side set. A quick scamper for Hagen. Is that a chest dig? Such a bummer to not have the complete highlight. He just took us from San Diego to Brazil.
I really like the move. Logan Webber jumps into the angle, and his partner's right down the line. That is exactly how you do it. That is a perfect block, channeling exactly to where your defender is going to be. And then that big swing from Hagen, he's going to remain aggressive at all times.
Let's catch up with Hagen Smith now.
This weekend will be tough. You know, we're going up against the 2 Olympic teams, and if we can carry over what we did in that first qualifier series, we'll be very tough to beat. I mean, our serves are on, defensively we're solid, our systems were just consistent, and so if we can bring that, I think we're a very hard team to beat, and we'll beat some teams that, you know, maybe on paper we shouldn't have, but we know that we have the capability to do.
And they did face off against Benish and Partain in the Heritage Series in Huntington Beach, so this is their second straight competition against them.
You mentioned how conservative Miles Partain is from the service line. Opposite of that is Hagen Smith. He was on the left earlier. Now he went to the right for the last serve. He's going to stay on the right-hand side here. You can serve anywhere along that end line at any time. And he went cross into the middle last time. Let's see if it goes even further across. No, it's on Benish.
Gets a tick off the top of the net. That's off the top of the right hand. Perfectly funneled, but to his opponent. Smith and Webber, this is huge. 8-5 over Benish and Partain, a 4-0 run.
Mom Patty loves it. Nice job, Hagen. Nice back flipper.
We have not seen Dallas Dream in this position much. In the last 2 years, right now, they are facing a 3-point deficit to the rookies. Tomorrow at 5 Eastern, CBS Sports Network coverage of the 2025 PBA Tour Finals begins as this year's contenders square off in the ultimate clash of pins and precision for a chance at Sunday's title match. The question is, will the LA Launch find a strike or a spare? Right now, in the midst of set one, they are looking awfully pretty, up 8-5 over a team that has not seen a loss in league play from last season, even into this season.
Yeah, a team that rarely loses a set, and already these two guys are on top of it. I love the 10 events together with Hagen Smith. You mentioned they've been staying together. Mom Patty here checking out the action. Fantastic that half the family made it down. Casey Patterson weirdly stalking them in the background. That's kind of odd.
Of course, St. John Smith, father to Hagen.
I love the way they're being aggressive in every phase of the game. They are playing their style of volleyball, and so far have enforced their will on the flow of this match.
Well, that's what you want coming out of the timeout for Benish and Partain. Again, St. John Smith, the winningest beach volleyball duo alongside Randy Stoklos, over 140 wins. Of course, an Olympian. It's actually part of the first exhibition in beach volleyball at the Olympic Games in '92.
I got sucked down the rabbit hole watching some old AVP heritage action this week.
Oh yeah, I went back to '89 at an event back in Rio, and I was blown away. It was amazing.
Saw a lot of young Chris Marlowe on there. That was outstanding. Paul Sunderland. Man, a lot of people I know.
I mean, there's no better jawline, right?
Oh, might be no better announcer.
Right back in it, the Dallas Dream. Again, these expedited sets, just to 15 points. It puts an emphasis that you had to start and start well.
Yeah, Weber and Smith have done just that. Let's see how aggressive they remain as we get to the last third of this first set. Because now they can just side out their way, right? All they have to do is continue to side out. They don't even have to score on your side.
Short serve, and they run the back set. Miles Partain, easy on that left side. Extended set, and a strong swing right down the line.
Another nice dig by Hagen Smith. He's made a number of really exceptional reads when players are pulling or the block is a little out of position. He's still reading and making moves, and then his partner just pulls this out of the net. Watch this. That is not an easy ball to set with tempo and location. Logan Weber, 29, maybe coming in to just the meat of his career here.
Just want to know who has better hair, me or him.
Him.
Dang it. You got a little room to work here if you're Smith and Weber, but not a ton, maybe just a sliver against this team of Benish Partain. Their skill set is seen from the service line, the defense, the offense.
See if they option here off a Benish jump serve.
How about that? Why not just serve up an ace?
Well, you can't option off a Benish ace. This is where Andy has affected the game. Everybody talks about the blocking. For sure, that's true. But his service also is not only effective, it's often timely.
Benish, the most improved player back in 2023, as you just had the announcers curse Kevin. Talked about that service pressure and misses one wide.
I would love to have that much power.
Just last week, it was Chase Buttinger and Miles Evans against Benish and Partain in week 1. They nearly stole a set off of Benish and Partain. Slam dunk, more like a tip dunk.
That is the height of Logan Weber. He is not some of those tweener players at 6'9" or 6, or pardon me, at 6'5" or 6'6". He is legitimately just as big as Andy Benish, and playing with the timing here. A little hang and throw.
Just taking a set off of Smith, or excuse me, Benish and Partain would be a feat in itself. Again, Chase Buttinger and Miles Evans, they were close a week ago. It was 19-17 in that first set, and then all of a sudden, the Dallas Dream decided to step it up even more in the second set, closing it out, remaining unbeaten in 24 and 25.
Yeah, in that match, Miles Partain kind of remained unstoppable. He offensively was the power for this franchise. They're pretty quiet in that box right now.
Well, let's check in with the Dallas Dream, talking team dynamic.
The team aspects is really exciting. I think that's the one thing we miss in our sport. Obviously, we have our partner, and it's great to at least have somebody out there with you. It's not like fully individual sport, but I think anyone that has played indoor knows it feels way better to get a cool play if, you know, more people are relying on you or you get to support somebody else. So I'm really excited about having the team aspect of it.
been such a journey for Benish and Partain, particularly for Andy Benish. You look at his array of partners: Adam Roberts, Billy Allen, Nick Lucena, Cole Fears, Eric Baranik, Miles Evans 7 times, including the 2022 Manhattan Open 3rd place. I mean, he's been through a lot of different people. I think you can take a lot from different people. Look at that grab.
Right back to the dream. He fakes the set, and it felt almost anticlimactic to close that out.
Why you do that to us, Miles? That's not kind to anyone here after this play.
Love the outstretched effort of Hagen Smith.
And have a sense of flair right there.
I mean, that's even worse because he's staring you down straight in the eyes as he's doing it. As that's sent back to the cross court. Can Smith and Weber hang on to this lead?
Well, that was an excellent recovery in the footwork by Logan Weber. He was way off. I think he took a little sand bump there to the foot and got stuck and had to quick chop to get there. Smart to not try and be physical in front of Andy Benish.
2 quick steps on that approach from the service line. Right in the breadbasket for Smith. He only needs a hop to get it done.
Love the attitude of the men in white in this first set. Well done, gentlemen. Not only executing the volleyball, but just playing with confidence. How outstanding has Hagen Smith been positionally in this first set on defense?
You're going to get a chance to see him maybe play defense one more point here in this set.
Yeah, you'd love to just finish it.
Will he get it done with the serve? That's exactly how he seals set number 1.
All right, those of you who subscribe to the OnlyFans, he's going to be in the player box and maybe give you a little insight between sets. Is that what you get when you join, when you sign up?
Exclusive content from Hagen Smith. That's what you get. The rookies challenging the runners-up from 2024. This Dallas duo only dropped one set last season. It was right here in Viejas Arena to Trevor and Theo. It was the LA Launch that found that second set against them to start off league play for the Launch. Hagen Smith, Logan Weber, now with Casey Patterson.
I'm with young rookies here, or not so young, who just show that they're going to dominate the league. Fun fact, that serve wasn't even a thing indoors at UCLA. He was the guy that kept it in. What changed for you?
No, at UCLA, someone needed to make their serves in, so I opted for a float. And then as soon as I got to the beach, I decided to copy my dad and go for his, but I have a little bit more power than he has out of it, so it's working.
I'm glad you said I didn't want to embarrass Dad. I'm glad that you said that. A little bit more power, a lot more power. Logan, how do you feel? I mean, first match, you win the set against a team that's been like almost invincible the last 2 seasons. How do you feel right now? First event, the body, you're siding out like a god. What's it like on your end? I like my end watching.
Yeah, it's just, it's fun to come out here, like you said, very first set of the year. And yeah, just come out here and continue to show everybody what we can do.
I love it. And we have like a little insight on the team. You got a big 3 minutes on the side change. The girls are telling jokes. Do you guys have one locked and loaded for them? I love this theme.
I already told my joke during their match, and it worked for them. So I'll take credit for their win, and they can take credit for our win.
I love it. Staying loose. I'll let you guys get back to it. Take number 2 down. All right, they're back.
Right back onto the sand. The last time these two teams met, it was 21-13, 21-12, as it was a Heritage Series event. Different scores in this one, Kev.
Yeah, and a different result here for Dallas, right? Hitting 250. Partain, 4 kills on 11. The real offensive star of that first set, Logan Weber, 5 for 5.
What?
Yeah, and a block to go with it. So I really like what they did. Now, adjustments for the Dream side. I would stop with all the fancy jump set. I would just run an offense and just take some swings here. I would dispense with some of the extra at the moment.
That is something they have tended to not go away from.
I know.
Part of their strategy, part of their identity.
But the first 5 or so points, I'd want to get settled a little bit, score a couple, especially in transition. Set the ball, make a good play.
If you're just joining us here on CBS Sports Network, another tough serve spells trouble for Miles Partain. I don't know if I've really ever seen Partain get aced, but this is a best-of-3 competition. We play to those 15 points, and you got to win by 2. Benish and Partain currently on the ropes.
Well, that's back-to-back aces. 1 to end, 1 to open. And I would just keep going in that angle. I wouldn't mess with it. He's done it with power, right? High power to the corner the first time. This a little bit to the left instead. I would just hit it hard to either side of Miles Partain, whichever way you think he's leaning.
They go right back to that sideline. There's the simple offensive play, and just too much oomph on that swing.
Yeah, the other thing you do with a tough serve like that is you negate the on-2 game. You put the other side in a situation where they just have to go standard pass, set, attack.
Most valuable player in 24. He hit 510 on the season. He was the only defender over 500. As that is a house built around Hagen Smith.
That is a setting mistake and some blocking discipline. So the setting mistake is you're on the antenna or outside, and the discipline is from Andy Benish, just getting up, over, and being big. You can feel the frustration coming off the big man there at the net after that first set. He looks like a caged tiger.
You heard the bite from him. He hates to lose.
Take it personal.
Benish and Partain on the reception. It's not often we see these two having to side out.
Short serve's open.
They get Logan Weber on that one.
Just keep setting them. Keep setting your offense. Just don't force anything on 2. Keep yourself in a good position. Try and steady that side out game first.
We spoke to Logan Weber this week, and he spoke specifically about having to move horizontally, especially considering the 2 opponents that he will face this weekend. As you take a look at the Dallas Dream, 12-0 in AVP League matches over the 2 seasons played. Andy Benish, 560. And it's interesting, as these matches have been reduced to just 15 points per set, the efficiencies have had to climb. So now what used to be solid in the 300s, that mark has become 400s. Exceptional is in the 5s.
I think they're so successful because they just generally don't give up a lot of points. And that's what's made them have success internationally. When they're playing well, they're just not giving up points. And the margins are even smaller than they are here domestically. Interesting, having gone to the middle here now, Smith. And serving the other way.
And it's now multiple occasions that we've seen Andy Benish just kind of attack the inner uprights of Weber.
All right, as the Dream look for a point here, watch Benish. See if Benish goes split block or if he moves his hands in unison outside his body. He does a lot of that. He doesn't do a lot of pogo moves, a lot of shifting in jumping into spots the way Brandy Wilkerson does.
That time he tried to track it with his hands.
Yeah, you see the quickness of Smith that time.
What's impressed you about their offense thus far?
Confidence. They're just taking swing, change the direction of the ball when needed. They've also taken it off a couple of times. Remember Weber, when his feet got tied up early in that set, he just went to the soft cut shot. They've made a lot of quality volleyball choices, which is what they talked about coming in.
Another pass gone awry, but a beauty of a set. The double axe handle from Smith. Tight set, and that's all muscle. On 2. Let it play out.
Nobody up with Hagen Smith is going to be a kill. When they talked about a little more heat than Dad, no. Sorry, St. John. A lot more. Have you seen those shoulders?
He's named after Ron Von Hagen. That guy had some muscle.
Yeah, I really like everything about that play. Hagen's been in some terrific spots. Hasn't been converting. It surprised me looking at the first set. 2 of 8 with 1 error. It felt better than that. So there's still some upside left for him offensively in this match.
He's talked about it, trying to improve his consistency. And that's an A+ dig. Partain. Play after play on the side of the LA launch.
Yeah, they are making plays. They're making themselves known. I like the swing from Smith. If you don't hit it right in the basket, you're for sure getting that kill. Pound Town. Want to see a little more energy over there.
Hagen Smith looking to become the mayor with this last swing. He is up there.
Yeah, Hagen and Micah Ma'a spent a lot of time just setting each other in that 6-2 system, constantly setting right side, right side, right side. I think that's one of the reasons he really likes setting Logan Weber over there. It's just his comfort zone.
Yeah, I said simplify the offense just a bit too. Let him be big on that right side. 6'1" and 6'9", that duo from LA. As you take a look at what's to come with the AVP League. Up next, we're heading to the East Coast. Get our tan on. Kev, you could use a little more sunshine in your life, could you not?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and get to Miami early. Maybe lay out.
Well, then we'll be heading off to East Hampton, LA, New York City. We are moving from coast to coast, closing out with our 2 stops in the great state of Texas, Austin and Dallas. And who will be moving on to Chicago as you look to the numbers. This is last week to tonight, a staggering difference.
Absolutely, but it's been dictated a lot by the service from the other side. The launch have gotten after it. They've been accurate. They've been powerful from the line, and that's tough to deal with when your opponent is just setting the standard in that one closed chain skill in the game, service. I still think short is open. Andy Benish is within 1.5 feet of the back line. I might throw one short. If you have it, cut it.
Both of them stepping into the court upon reception. And these two just coming off international play as well. If you're new to beach volleyball, throughout the summer, these athletes play here with the league, and then they also play internationally with the FIVB. So some time differences and some challenges as they move from one to the next.
Right, different ball and a little back and forth, different score. There's a lot to digest if you're a volleyball player.
And these two just returning from Ostrava. They picked up a 5th there. We're worried about going coast to coast. These guys are traveling all over the world, putting on the miles.
Interesting scheduling, too, for the Dallas Dream. We've seen him in week 1, week 2. We'll see him in week 4, and then we won't see him again until the last week. They are tied for the 2nd longest break. They have that big, long break. We'll see how they deal with that. And for the launch, we're going to see him now and then not again until LA.
Here's the chase down and finds, the video boards on the side. Another open net.
And he's got to stay at the net there. He has to stay at the net. That ball is outside, but Hagen Smith is taking a big approach. And once that ball goes outside the antenna, that is advantage for the blocker. I like the idea of pushing it across the net on the last play, but it has to be a little further inside. This is too far. And Bennis just gets caught not really making a play, especially going straight back. The ball can't go there. It would have to go through the antenna to make it down the line. You're just basically leaving the entire court for your partner.
I have not seen the Dallas Dream this out of system.
No, and it's a service game, man. They have not faced this kind of consistent service, and that is trouble.
Did he lose it in the light?
I don't know, but yo, donuts. That's it. You're going to have to pay. That's a rule. You hit the ball into the net like that, you're bringing pastries tomorrow.
Andy Benish and Miles Partain. Yeah, it's time to take a timeout for those two. Back against the wall. They have not lost with the AVP League. Right now, they're in some hot water.
The AVP League is the best beach volleyball players in the United States, playing in games to 15.
With 8 city teams, each city has a men's and a women's team.
Just walking in and seeing, a beach volleyball court inside such a big indoor arena just continue to kind of raise the level of excitement.
There is so much entertainment. You are able to enjoy so much athleticism. It's just a party culture. There's music, there's fun.
Everyone I know who's been to an event has been like, wow, I felt it when I was there.
When fans in here and it gets packed, it gets super loud and it's electric on the court, being able to play with that.
It opens the book for, just more exciting play than beach volleyball already is.
Get a chance to see a few new faces, a chance to see Taryn and Kristen, or excuse me, that's Taryn Cloth. She'll be playing along Kristen Nuss later on this evening, as we're still in the midst of this battle between the LA Launch and the Dallas Dream. How do they change the tide? They come back with their first point, Benish and Partain.
Change some of the emotion on your side. First thing you have to do is handle the service. They didn't there, but I like the aggressive attack from Miles Partain. Not always the most aggressive guy, but he gets after it there.
You can see Miles Partain is wanting to pull the trigger quickly here. He practices 2 floats there, 2 tosses. Side set, little taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, and a wide open shot down the line, nowhere near it. Nice vision from Logan Weber. And they're back in the exact same situation they were in the last set, where they can just side their way out. Little 2-point lead. They held it well. Were never really threatened down the stretch with that 15-10 finish in set 1. Keep serving with confidence. That's what I would do if I'm this side. At LA Launch, do not lose it. As you get towards the end of the match, don't change.
7 kills, 1 error for Weber with an additional 3 blocks. Absolute butter of a set from Partain as they try and work a double block. Or maybe he was just using Partain as a step ladder.
Yeah, right there. I think Logan just went to jump too soon and realized it and had to double clutch. That really hurt his physicality on that battle with Andy.
Benish is at the service line and looks as if he might need a little bit of attendance here.
Wow, there may have been a collision. Sometimes you get a collision between the two players under the net or at above the top.
Or you have a collision with the cheese grater,
yeah.
which I think is exactly what it is. They're going to take a look at that left thigh.
Yeah, good call, Cam. The cheese grater, as we affectionately call it, are the signboards. We've seen Chase Budinger end up in a fight with the cheese grater and lose. Actually, all the players are undefeated. That cheese grater has a perfect record.
He had a meeting with it on the opposite side of the net.
Now they're going to judge him good to go. Only thing worse than an encounter like that is when somebody steps on you. Under the net, sometimes you get stepped on and the sand just turns into sandpaper, about a 40 grit on the top of your foot.
Time to make some moves for Benish and Partain. Down by 1. Tracking to the right side. How did he come away with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the play. I would just set him in front. Don't get too cute by half there, because that is a play that should have been blocked, should have been stopped.
Don't forget, Smith and Weber recently making the switch. The left side player, the right side player. Not shocking to see Smith work around to that opposite side.
Yeah, the ball's too far off. It's too far pushed. It's just not the right time. Call out of that play and set right to the middle.
Was it an ace? They're going to call this out of bounds. Such a unique serve from Hagen Smith.
Yeah, he's getting around the side of it, right? He's been most effective from that spot on the right side to the corner.
Well, and he has no step in to his last 2 steps. It's just simply left, right, jump.
Power.
And it's staggered.
Yeah, power.
They're going to ask for a challenge here to see the sand splash and the sand spot. Check the ball mark.
That's it.
Here's a look back at it.
Ooh, that is close, and this is a huge call right here. Right now, 10-9 on the scoreboard. You'd be looking at 11-8.
Did you see it in or out?
I had it out.
I did as well.
And it does stay 10-9.
Can they make the most of it now? Benish Partain. Dallas 6 hitting errors, LA with 2. Looking for a kill. Big double arm lift. In 3 steps, Benish is there. Tight. Smith, finesse to the corner.
Sometimes you love a play for the way it finishes with a big kill or a huge block. I love that play for the defense that was played on both sides. Both Hagen and Miles making some outstanding reads and then controlling the ball at the point of contact. And here to finish, Hagen just listened to his partner. Said high line, and he put it in a coffin.
And he's talked about it. They want to be technical volleyball players.
They've done it. They've done it so far.
407, 231.
Yeah, and you mentioned the lack of errors, too. Service pressure with a decided lack of errors. Attacking with a lack of errors. And aggressive attacking, too. But it's close. This is very much within reach for the Olympians.
Will the undefeated Dallas Dream go down? Not if Miles Partain has anything to say about it. High set out of the middle. Talk about the heel of the hand.
Yeah, just being quick and physical, right, too. The last 2 close steps and then elevate straight up. That's what you have to do. When the ball is tight to the net, you have to get there and go straight up without any float into the ball. People think in beach you're not floating into the ball the way you do indoors. True, but you're still moving forward with that momentum, just not from as far back. Anytime it's tight, you got to elevate, like on that serve, just long.
Big moments. The first contest for Smith and Weber. They have to face off against the Giants.
Well, they must have been watching Denneberg and Donlin last week, who came out and took out some Olympians and started 2-0 in their league debut.
For the Brooklyn Blaze.
Yeah, I want more Denneberg and Donlin in my life.
Push this time all the way to the left.
Another beautiful read.
Big step on the right. And the off-speed play. Getting Hagen hyped along with those two.
Well, they're going to get credit apparently for the joke, so this is almost there for them. And now he's cranked the last few from that spot. He's not been afraid to hit it here. He just gets lucky to chip in. Andy's up a little bit early, and that side shuffle didn't have Andy getting up as big as he normally would, so he was coming down as that ball was chipped into him.
Last time Benish and Partain took a loss with the AVP was in 2024 at the end of the season in Manhattan Beach. They need this set and a third set to avoid that. That loss came 21-18, 21-18 to Trevor Crabb and Theo Brunner in the finals, nonetheless.
Perfect channel. That ball should have been dug.
Dream need a real point to tie the game.
Benish goes away from the jump serve.
A perfect set on the sliding platform. Scooping off the right hand. And just too much from Andy Benish.
Huge point for the launch. Huge. Because they were way off balance to start.
And now an even bigger point. Smith and Weber. Match point.
In a lot of cases, I want to hit the ball hard at the end. Here, I want to chip it right down the middle. You've been winning some rallies. I want to put it right down the middle if I'm Weber to serve, but it's actually Smith who's going to come back, in which case I'm going to change my strategy and go for it. Different for different partners. If I'm Smith, I'm going that angle.
Pound Town asking for the pace. Nearly had it with an ace. Nearly. Inches from victory. A chance to close it out with a side out.
Simple, technical volleyball in this play.
Shaky platform from Weber. Invincible, no more. The rookies take down Benish and Partain. Welcome to the league.
Huge result. Huge result. We wondered what these guys would do, right? They've been qualified forever. They've had a lot of experience together. How would they come out against the best in the AVP league? Confident was the answer. They made plays, and I love the end of that, right? They're off balance in reception for the second consecutive reception. And what does Logan Weber do? Does he take a giant wild cut? No. Technically, drops it cross-body where nobody is located. That was a really nice way to finish this incredible victory and perfect start.
The first ever loss for Benish and Partain in the league, and it comes at the hand of Logan Weber and Hagen Smith. Exciting times on the side of the LA launch. Talk about starting off your season the right way. We'll get a chance to catch up with our winners and hear just how exciting this one was. What was once unthinkable is now imaginable and possible. Hagen Smith, Logan Weber taking down the Dallas Dream. Let's head to Casey Patterson with our winners.
I'm with the winners here. That was an insanely exciting match. I am a huge fan of this team. These guys are bringing fire. Logan, how'd you feel out there? First win, first match. You're in the league. It's got to be special.
Yeah, it was fun. It was nice to get off to a good start in that first set and just be able to like flow and enjoy the moment a little bit and not get too wrapped up in the match. And yeah, just, you know, we got that little buffer like we talked about at the beginning. And yeah, we really were able to find our energy and like I said, just enjoy our time here. I flubbed a little thumb down at the end of that game, and I almost looked at you, but it wasn't clean enough. I was like, that looked like Casey, only like a Walmart version of Casey Patterson.
Except for you're 2 feet higher than me, too. You never say that, but I mean, I felt like this match, Hagen, was like an ode to dad in a sense. For me, I got to be honest, as a father as well, a little emotional watching you scoop, transition, bomb your serve, entertain the crowd. I was like, wow, I feel like I'm 14-year-old Casey watching your dad dominate on TV. So for me, that was special. For you, how did it feel?
Nah, this is, my goal since I was a youngin', before I can remember, was to play pro and do exactly what he did. So I don't know if I'll catch up to him in tournament wins. I don't know if it's possible unless I play till I'm like 85 and win everything. But no, this is just me, living or continuing his legacy.
Right. And that's how it's got to be, especially with the way you played there. That's what I immediately felt was like, dude, this is special. This is rad. This is what I would want as a father for my boys. My kid out there just dominating. So, boys, congrats. I'm excited for the rest of the season. The girls also dominated, too. I feel like we've got a great momentum. Remember the jokes we told today, right? I feel like those might be the magical ones, right? Stay loose. Yeah. So, with the winners, they're on a great start. You could say rookies, but not really compared to how they played today. They're ready to dominate.
The LA Launch are looking to continue their path. They had a great start. They're still working on their handshakes nonetheless, but an impressive performance from LA. Final thoughts coming up on this win for the LA Launch on the other side of this break. AVP League is brought to you by Wilson, the official ball of the AVP.